Hi. So today I thought it would be fun to do something different and somewhat terrifying. So I'm going to do a tutorial on injecting your own estrogen. So I have been doing injections since about December, and so a little under a year now, and I started out completely terrified at the idea of doing my own injection. I didn't like needles that much before I started this whole transition, and by the time I started injections, I was getting kind of comfortable with needles, but the idea of injecting myself was still a little bit creepy. So for the first few months that I was doing it, I did go to a local shot clinic and have the shot done for me, but I did start to want to learn how to do it myself. I was dealing with some circumstances that meant that I might not always be able to make it to the shot clinic, or just things of that nature. So I decided I want to learn. So I had them kind of walk me through it, let me do it, and for a month or so I would go back and forth. I would do the shots here, and then I would go to the clinic for the next one. But for the last 3 months or so, I've pretty much been doing my own shots at home. So I'm going to kind of take you through that. So I will start out with what you need. These are the things that you need to have on hand when you do your shot. So obviously the estrogen, estradiol valerate, that's what I take. You're going to want to have a piece of gauze. You're going to want to have the barrel for your needle. And then with estrogen, you're going to want to have 2 different needles. Now the first one is an 18 gauge, 1.5 inch needle. This is for actually drawing. Estrogen, the estradiol, is actually fairly viscous, so it doesn't come out in the smaller needle very easily. So this is also not the needle that you want to inject yourself with. This will hurt. I haven't done it, but just looking at the size difference between the two is enough to tell me that that will hurt like hell. Your other needle, for me it's 25 gauge, 1 inch needle. The gauges can vary slightly, and it kind of depends on what's available and what you're more comfortable with. This is the smallest needle, which, with estrogen being as viscous as it is, means that the needle will stay in longer. But that's okay, because if you do it right, you don't even really feel it. So for me, I would rather have the needle in there longer if I'm not feeling it than have a slightly bigger needle go in and actually feel it and end up in pain. You'll want to have a Band-Aid ready. If you do it right, you shouldn't bleed really very much at all, but you do want to cover the hole. It will help with, just like losing blood through the hole. You want to prevent estrogen from leaking out too right after. And then, of course, you want to have your sharps container for your needles when you're done. You want to make sure that you're disposing of these in the proper fashion, because they are biohazard material. And last but not least, you want to have 2 alcohol swabs. Now, once you've got everything together, you're going to decide where you want to inject it. Some people inject into their butt. The first shot that I had when I went to the clinic was in my shoulder. I didn't really care for that. I actually inject into my thigh. So, kind of circle down around here, and it's going to be like right in this area here is where you want to inject. So the first thing that I do is I take the wipe, and don't worry about the fact that you can't see my face, and don't concentrate too much on how fat this shirt makes my stomach look. Not part of the tutorial. So you're going to want to wipe a nice large area around the area that you intend to inject. Once that's done, you're going to want to make sure that you let this dry. Now, if you happen to inject yourself while the alcohol is still wet, there is a lot of potential for burning and pain, or burning type of pain. So I have never done that yet because I'm super paranoid about it, and I do not want to deal with that kind of pain. So, the other wipe you want to take, And you want to wipe down the top of the container where the needle is going to go in. Now with the vial that I have, it has a kind of gray rubbery top, and you're actually able to stick the needle in there and pull it out and it will reseal itself. So now that that's all getting ready, let's go ahead and get things ready for the shot. So you have your barrel. First thing you want to do is put the draw needle on it. So with these, they just screw right in on this. So then you're going to want to pull back. You want to have some air in there. You're going to take the top off, and you can kind of see how long and thick that needle is. You do not want this to be the needle that you inject yourself with. This will hurt. And then you just kind of take it and drive it into the top at an angle. Once you're in, you go ahead and pump the air out. Boom. Now dosage will differ. So with me, I am on 0.5 milliliters a week. So I'm going to pull down. I'll go a little bit past 0.5, which is okay. And then once I'm there, I'll go ahead and push it back up in until I'm at about the 0.5 mark. I'll go ahead and take it out. Actually, you want to pull it back before you take it out. I didn't do that. It's not going to hurt anything, but just another step that you want to make sure that you hit. So once that is done, you make sure it's pulled back far enough that everything is in the tube. And you go ahead and put the tip back on the needle. And then you unscrew that needle and into the sharps container right away. Then you put your injection needle on, the 25 gauge for me. And you pull off the top. Actually, you don't yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. So you're going to push up till you see just a little bit come out the tip. Once you see that, you're good to go. You're going to want to kind of pull it and check for air bubbles. Make sure that you don't have any. A small one here or there is not going to hurt you, but it's best to just not have them at all. So now comes the part where we find out if I hurt myself. Normally this goes very smoothly. I've never had any major problems with it. Sometimes I'll have a little bit of pain, but usually it goes in really smoothly. So I'm going to go back down to my leg. So when you're getting ready to inject, you're going to take the cover off the needle, set it right where you can grab it nearby. Just a second here. Having issues with... There we go. Perfect. So you're going to want to flatten out the area that you're going to inject in. So you want to hit this area, it's kind of the muscle area, and you want to be injecting into muscle. Now it may sting if you nick a vein, and then at that point that's your decision as to whether you want to go ahead and finish it up or you want to get it out of there and try again. So when you're doing this, you want to hit at a 90-degree angle. So let's see. And you want to just push right in. See there, I am in all the way. I didn't even feel that. So you push it down. Now estrogen being viscous again, this does not go down as quickly as some other injections might. So as I said, it does stay in the leg longer. If you do it right and there's no pain, that's not a problem. So push it all the way down. sure you get all that estrogen goodness into you. Alright, it's all the way down. Then you just pull straight out. No problems. Then you want to go ahead and go over the area that you did with a gauze pad and kind of massage it for a moment. It gets the estrogen flowing. And then with your other hand, go ahead and make sure you put the cap back on the needle. And once again, needle right into the Sharpie container. Make sure that you do that right away. Sharpie container you can usually get from your pharmacist if you need one. So, massage that for a moment, and absolutely no pain on that. That went in smoothly. I did not feel a thing. And if you do it right, that should be how it is pretty much every time. So I'm actually up over 10 minutes already. I didn't mean for this to take so long. So basically you just massage it for a moment. It gets the estrogen flowing. Again, it is viscous, so this does help get it moving. Once you're comfortable with that, you take your Band-Aid and you slide it right over. Now, even when you do it perfectly, you usually see just a little speck, a little red speck. But like I said, that could not have gone any better. I am so glad that that is the one that I decided to tape, because I've had a couple where I have not been in intense pain, but I've definitely felt, and that I did not even feel. So that's how you do self-injection. Hopefully I covered everything. Almost everything that I had is readily available. The needles, the barrels you can get from your pharmacist if you have a prescription for your estrogen, along with the Sharpie container. The gauze pads, the alcohol wipes, Band-Aids, that you can obviously get pretty much anywhere that has a pharmacy or a pharmacy section. So that is my estrogen injection tutorial. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. Thanks for watching.